Outside a hastily erected tent on the Congo-Sudan border, LRA rebels stand guard. Abduction has long been the LRA leadership's favoured method of recruitment, and most of these fighters were forcibly abducted from their homes when they were children. Over the years, some were rescued, others escaped the rebels' brutal clutches, but a hard core of brainwashed young men and women remain. Joseph Kony, seen here meeting a delegation of Ugandan officials, is the leader of the LRA. He's wanted by the International Criminal Court on charges of war crimes. Despite the reams of evidence against him, Kony vehemently denies any wrongdoing.
Those atrocities which was happened in Uganda, that is not me or that is not my people. Atrocity which was taking place in Uganda was done by Uganda government. I did not abduct anybody which was in the bush, and there's no any children in my position or in my camp.
But the number of young faces outside the tent suggests otherwise. If peace is to really take hold, then LRA leaders must be reconciled with the same communities they've preyed on for the past 20 years. Norbert Mao is a former MP from Northern Uganda. He says that despite their excesses, the LRA will be welcomed home.
You will find that the majority are willing to welcome back our people who are in the LRA. It is going to be painful because war is painful, but we can overcome it if we are together. So the LRA is welcome back home.
Former rebel commander Jackson Achama came out of the bush in 2003 after 16 years with the LRA. He lost his right leg to amputation after his knee was shattered by a government soldier's bullet. He says that a government amnesty for ex-rebels was what ultimately enticed him out of the bush, and that victims of the LRA are ready to forgive the rebels for the crimes they've committed.
What the civilians now say is people are fed up of the war. And this process of amnesty was begun by the civil population because they said war cannot now end the conflict. It is only amnesty, and it is in the culture of the Ashole that people should be forgiven.
But some of the victims bear such horrible physical and mental scars from the conflict that it may be hard to forgive. Around 25,000 children have been abducted by the rebels since the war began. Many bore witness to or were forced to commit hideous crimes. Florence Lachour works as a counsellor at the World Vision Centre, where former abductees are cared for and counselled. Her own daughter was abducted in 1996 and spent 8 years in the bush as a captive of the LRA. She now works exclusively with child mothers returning from the bush, oftentimes to a hostile reception from the communities they left behind.
Many people don't understand them. People call them rebels. People think they have done a lot of atrocities, so they are not fit to be in the community, in the society.
Every day, Florence visits former abductees who've now returned to their communities. Girls who were given as wives to rebel commanders and who bore children while in the bush. Ida Okongo is one such child mother. She was abducted in 1993 along with her 3 brothers. In order to ostracize her from her own community and to bloody her hands, she was forced to kill one of her own brothers soon after they were abducted. As a consequence of this, and the unspeakable brutality that marked her years in the bush, Ida is deeply scarred.
So Ida, in the bush, she was being mistreated like any other girl, beaten all the time, given to a man who is older than her with other women around him. And she became a wife after 2 years. Then she gave birth to the first child who died. Then she gave birth to 2 more children. Now, when she came back home, she found the parents, where one of them died of sickness, the other one was killed by the rebels. So she expected the people at home, the relatives, to welcome her, to accept her. But when she came, all the people who should have accepted her, when they saw her with the 2 children, they rejected her.
Cái gang bé, à bên nó đồng en, bên nhà đan đâu cả ta, bên thì đồng đi mà cả quen cái này mình đồng bên thì đồng pa, à cháu bên thì chiều mấy cái này, món phụ mấy cái này cái can bên đây cả, nè là tiền là phía cái chiên, coi nè là tiền là kia, một cái nhà tiền à cháu, à bên đồng can bây giờ cái nào đồng, nhớ mà đồng coi nè phải, cái đường cái chuối mà nó lo cái nó chả rồi bể lum nó đào bể, bể nó u gang, nhớ mà nhớ giờ đã bể, lấy nhớ mà cái ăn bể.
Rejected by her family, Ida found herself with no better option than to reunite with her rebel husband when he himself returned from the bush after sustaining serious injuries in an attack by government soldiers. During his years as a fighter, Michael Achelem was shot 10 times and lost his right eye to shrapnel. But quite unlike the experience of his wife, he says that following the Acholi tradition of forgiveness, he's been fully accepted back into the community.
Kony with his senior commander, they are all what? This one tribe. They are all Acholi. They are all Acholi. So in Acholi have their what? Regulation. Acholi have their laws. They forgive. Acholi, they will forgive Kony. As they forgive other people. As you see me, I am together with the civil population because they are our parents. So I'm together with them without any dispute.
But for thousands of people like Ida who've lost so much to the war, forgiveness may be too bitter a pill to swallow. And Uganda's peace could yet turn out to be just as challenging as its war.